Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. We close out today's show.
We're already in the last segment.
That's fastest 90 minutes in outdoor radio programming, right. And we've touched a lot of bases, as we have, and this being first Saturday of the month, that means that Dave Gabbard and Gene Smith have endured the show with me. I couldn't do it without with my co-host, and of course Shelby McCall is our show producer, pushes all the buttons. So again, good morning to all you folks in Brownsville and all you folks in Jackson and all over the Mid-South. Here.
Oh, everybody in Radio Land.
ESPN 790 here in Memphis. This next young man travels a lot, and we were waiting until he got back from South Carolina to not only talk about a little turkey hunting with him, because he has done that as a guide over in the Carolinas, but also he loves to duck hunt. We're going to talk a little duck hunting with him, and probably going to ask him how in the world he got his nickname, but we'll find out about that. This is Ricky Hazelgrove from one of my favorite places where I do a lot of my hunting out of Bolivar, Tennessee, but we all call him Hoot. Good morning, Hoot.
Hoot. How you doing? Good morning.
All right, let's get this out of the way. Why do they call you Hoot?
Well, I spent 20 years in the Marine Corps. When I graduated boot camp way back when and went to my infantry combat training, I typically never been out of this county for the most part, and I just was in. Well, especially the Marines, they're known for their antics, and
yes. Yeah,
I was at one of the antics locations and never knew it, but my company commander was there, and we had a surprise inspection the next morning. My name was called out, and another Marine's name was called out. I passed his inspection, and the other Marine didn't quite do too good, and the captain just told the whole squad, platoon, battalion, everybody, said, if you're going to hoot with owls, you better soar with eagles like this Marine. And it just stuck.
And it stuck, and it stuck, and it stuck. And growing up in Bolivar, let's talk about we have been communicating together either by text or messenger or whatever it's been with Ricky, because you folks know that I spent a lot of time hunting in Bolivar, Whiteville, and that area right there. Talk about how you got into hunting and doing what you're doing.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, in about 5 years, this farm in Tune will be in the family name for over 100 years.
Wow. Yeah.
And we were raised to hunt, not for sport, but to actually, we eat what we kill.
That's right. Yeah.
And my granddaddy and daddy and my uncles, that it was just more than a tradition. It was just what you did.
It was what you did, and
the farm, the Hatchie River goes through our farm, so it's a natural attractant for waterfowl. When conditions was right, and that's just where I got my start.
So, did you grow up in a big family?
Just a brother and sister from my daddy, but I had two uncles and of course cousins and stuff. But my daddy just kind of stuck to the home place here.
It did. And then you had a chance to spend some time in the Marines. And
correct, 20 years.
20 years in the Marines. And
got to hunt and fish in a lot of different places.
All right. Where are some of the places you ended up at in your career?
Hawaii.
Okay.
California.
Okay.
All over the East Coast. One of my favorite duck hunting locations was New Orleans. I was down there 3 years.
Okay. Yeah, so a long way from Tune, right?
You got that right.
And for you folks out there don't know, Tune is right out Highway 100, isn't it? I mean, it's
right in between Highway 100 and Highway 18.
Right there in Hardeman County, and but you got this love and became what'd you do in real life? I mean, what's after you got out of the Marines?
I bought it when I retired in 1993. I bought a business in Beaufort, South Carolina.
Okay, that's how your connection with South Carolina came about, right?
Well, they had one of the earliest turkey seasons other than Florida,
that's
and they
true.
had just numerous turkeys, and their deer season opened on the 15th of
That's
August,
right.
which was,
that's right.
And it was a no buck limit type thing, and I was,
just go to Beaufort.
But it got to the point that I noticed they just didn't have the duck situation that I just had a sheer passion for that I grew up in.
Yeah, yeah.
So my mom and daddy came down one Easter. I took daddy, got his first turkey. That was one of the proudest moments of my life.
I can imagine, yeah.
And they fell in love with the area, the weather, the people. So I just kind of came up here.
Well, I love and of course, you have just gotten back. You do some guiding in South Carolina, right?
Correct, for Blackwater Hunting Services in Ulmer, South Carolina. I've been there 21 years.
Blackwater.
Blackwater Hunting Services.
Okay, and that's where is that? What's the name of that town?
It's a very small town. If Toon is a metropolis city, Ulmer is a town. But the biggest town is Barnwell. It's in the northwest corner. The Savannah River separates South Carolina from Georgia. And
yes,
it's almost right there.
And you have just recently returned. I mean, you had quite a season, didn't you?
Yes, sir. I was very, very fortunate. Got in on. I'm not trying to brag, I know how turkey hunting is.
Oh yeah, go ahead and brag.
But was very, very lucky. All but one hunter got shots at turkeys. I had 2 misses. I think it was 12 killed, 14 shot at.
My goodness.
But I got back Sunday, of course, Monday morning.
You were in Tennessee.
It's just the thing with me. I just go across the road and listen, and actually heard a turkey gobble. He was on my neighbor, and we have a pretty good understanding, but I wasn't going to go to him. If he wanted to come visit me, that'd been fine. I was going to make him trespass. but I think the girls had a little bit something else in store for him.
Oh, yeah, that's the way it goes. But but you got a love for duck hunting too, right?
Duck hunting is in my blood. I've constantly asked which would I prefer, ducks or turkeys, and I just have to go with ducks because it started at a very young age. Very quickly, I'll tell you why.
Why?
Way back when, my daddy drove a truck over the road, means he went cross country.
That's right, yeah.
My mother worked second and third shift at a local plant that was here at that time, and I stayed with my granddaddy.
Yeah.
My daddy pulled up to school. I was in the first grade.
Oh,
he was in his big Freightliner, and I thought, what in the world did I not do that I was told to do?
Uh-oh.
He said, come on, boy, we're going duck hunting. And our thing was birds, which is quail.
Yes, yeah.
Small game. We didn't have deer at that time.
Yeah.
And we went to my granddaddy's, had the old tractor that you cranked out front with a handle. You cranked it like that, and he pulled me down to the river bottom on a sled.
Yeah.
And he set me on a stump. He said, don't move. He walked up a slough and shot 2 times and come back, had 2 big fat mallards, and I was just amazed at the color of them,
Yeah.
It just got me, and all of a sudden ducks were flying everywhere, and you figure I'm in the first grade.
Oh,
Daddy gave me the green light. I just started shooting. I couldn't hit nothing. And he said, well, start looking for – we'd always pick up our hulls because he didn't want leaving nothing down there. And I just heard the wings, and I shot, and the duck hit the water in the slough behind us. Daddy said, I'm going to build a fire, take your clothes off, and go get your duck.
Oh, my goodness. And
now, you figure this is wintertime. It gets pretty cold here.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
And I would compete with a trophy championship Labrador Retriever the way I got that. But that just instilled in me a love for it.
And that started
in
first grade.
Yes, sir. And my whole life growing up with Daddy, we didn't have decoys. We didn't have duck calls.
Yeah, yeah.
We'd go what we call the beaver pond on the farm.
Yeah.
And he would tie a trot line to some buckbrush on one side, have a brick in the center, and where we sat on the other side, he'd jerk it just to make ripples. And it worked.
And it worked, and it
yes.
started your career. And I've heard a thing here, Ricky. Again, we're talking to Ricky Hoot, Hazelgrove, out of Toon, Tennessee. I've heard that you also pretty musically inclined. Is that right?
Yes, sir. When I retired, I was the drum major of the Marine Band at Paris Island, South Carolina, and I played the saxophone. And every other fall, I go to all the elementary schools in the county.
Yeah.
And I give demonstrations of what and here's the big word, I don't use that in front of the kids.
Yeah.
The wildlife, how they communicate that are indigenous to our area.
Really? Yeah.
Like turkeys, owls, crows,
Yeah.
hawks, of course, ducks, deer, coyotes, you name it. I can mimic it. Don't get me wrong, not bragging, but
yeah.
I'm I can whisper to a lot of things.
Well, I tell
but
you,
my attention gainer is I play the saxophone the very first thing, and it's always close to Christmas, so I play a Christmas song for the kids. And that is just
that's part of your heritage there. So
when you got several hundred kids in a gymnasium and they have that deer in the headlights look when you play the saxophone, you've got them. That's the best way I can say it.
Well, we've got somebody on the line right now, Ricky, we're going to surprise you with, because this man is a longtime friend of mine, a friend of yours, who knows music pretty well. And
I bet I know who it is.
That's my good friend Joe Sills.
Yes, sir.
Joe, hey, buddy, how you doing?
Hey, I'm here.
Well,
good to talk to you guys. I was going to surprise me and say, hey, Marine.
Yes, sir. Semper Fidelis. That means always faithful. And I have been and will be.
Well, Joe, we don't have a whole lot of time, but I want to surprise you with Joe. Joe, tell me a little bit about Ricky.
Well, I remember when Ricky first started, and he came in the band room, and we showed him some of the instruments, and some of the teachers says, "No, you don't want that kid." I said, "What do you mean you don't want that?" He said, "He's just a cut up. He's a pain in the rear, you know." Well, I'll have to say this: I was Ricky's band director for 7 or 8 years, and I never had the first trouble with him. I think the music and the discipline he had in band has helped him a lot in the Marine Corps, because that's what it was about, was the discipline. But Rick still plays with me some out at Toon Baptist Church on Christmas, and we have a nice little combo. We hadn't had it in a couple of years. We probably will get it up pretty soon. But I'm very, very proud to have been able to help Rick on his road to success. And I suppose that saxophone probably helped him with his duck calling, too.
Yeah. Well, what about that, Ricky?
Yes, sir, because saxophone is a reeded instrument, and every duck call I know about has reeds in them also. So Mr. Seals did. Let's say I followed the yellow footprints, the yellow brick road, so to speak.
You did, didn't you? Yeah, you really did.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we got to go. We're going to come back and do some more with Ricky down the road here. Ricky, if they want to find out about maybe a guided trip with you turkey hunting maybe next year or whatever, how do people get in touch with you?
What they have to do is any website, look on the website for Blackwater Hunting Services.
That's it.
In Ulmer, South Carolina. Terry Hires is the owner and operator.
Okay.
And even though if you mention Hoot, that's probably not going to get you a discount, but I guarantee you're going to have a conversation with that man about me.
I bet so. Ricky, thank you, man. Thank you, Hoot. Joe, thank you for coming on here and surprising Mr. Hoot, okay?
An honor to do so. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Can't wait to see you again, Mr. Seals.
All right, guys. We'll talk to y'all later. Thank y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Believe it or not, I've been to Beaufort, South Carolina.
I've been to Beaufort. Yeah.
Just north of Hilton Head.
Yeah,
down there.
it is. All right. Was that not fun? I know we got to get out of here, but I wanted to get that story. The saxophone, the drum major, and he's from Toon, Tennessee.
We were talking kind of the other day. That is what we're missing. Out of that generation that's coming up.
Yes, yeah.
They don't have the story. They weren't raised like that. They don't have the stories.
He was raised right, wasn't he?
Yeah. Around Bolivar, you remember the days around Webster's down there. Everybody gather up.
Oh, yeah. I miss Webster.
Oh, we could do a whole show.
Yeah, you could,
All right. We got to get out of here. Thank you, Dave and Daryl.
Enjoyed it.
And Gene and Dave. Next week, Ron Wong will be back. John Gordon will be here. We're going to talk to Matt Jensen about Rapala, whatever you want to call about that. Ronnie Camps, we're going to try to hook up with Ronnie. He and Steve Coleman won another big event, crappie fishing on Ross Barnett. Thank you, Shelby McCall. This is Larry Ray reminding you I do each and every week what? It doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. And what?
God bless the USA.